thinking it out loud. But I love those days when there's no one else around. I can feel your heart close to mine. In the night, my sleep talking about you with me. I could die just thinking about you when you're not with me. Oh, this time you fill my head and then my daydreams of you. In the night, my sleep talking about you with me. I could die just thinking about you when you're not with me. Oh, this time you fill my head and then my daydreams of you. Can't get enough of you. Can't get enough of you. In the night, my sleep talking about you with me. I could die just thinking about you when you're not with me. Oh, this time you fill my head and then my daydreams of you. In the night, my sleep talking about you with me. I could die just thinking about you when you're not with me. Oh, this time you fill my head and then my daydreams of you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to AtlanticR6. This is the first stream, and I believe two. My name is Piercing, and this is the first time working with Book. So, Book, welcome, and I guess I should ask you, how you feeling? How's it hanging?
Feeling pretty good. First time on the cast here. It should be pretty good. We've got two pretty exciting teams here. I know a lot of the PSU guys personally, so I'm very excited to see their performance in the first game here. First stream.
Another school, another school that feels weird for me because, again, I almost went to Penn State. I was looking at a lot of schools back in the good old days when I was just a wee little lad. But with that being said, yeah, like you said, we've got two great teams coming up. We've got Penn State University versus Appalachian State University. So, Book, you said you knew quite a bit about Penn State. What do you actually know about the roster, and what can we potentially expect?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I know they've had a lot of roster changes recently. I play with a lot of their guys. I've played a lot of ranked with some of these guys. Some of them like to troll a little bit. Some of them are really good fraggers, but they're missing a couple pieces here. I think they've got some new additions to their team. I know Rocky is going to be one of them. They've got a couple other players here that haven't been on this roster before, so it might be a bit of a shaky start. I'm not quite sure what to expect.
I wonder if we might see a bit of rank star style behavior coming from what I'm hearing so far, which it's always a delight to see until it gets shut down. Well, actually, I'd say that makes it even more fun. If you got a team that takes that ranked pub kind of behavior and just shuts it down, then the question becomes, what now? So, honestly, all for it, to be 100% honest. I think that's great. It's going to mean we're going to have a pretty blistering start, I would say. But with that, let's kind of talk a little bit what we're actually going to see. This is going to be a best of three, and for map one, we will be starting on Chalet. This is going to be Penn State University's pick, and Penn State will be starting on the attack. And then for the next two maps, which we'll get into the finer details once we get there, that will be labs and skyscrapers. So stay tuned for that. But with that being said, I do believe both the teams are ready to go. So with that, I'd say let's hop into it. What do you say?
Here we go. Oh, this is going to be exciting. I love all three of these maps too, so it should be pretty good.
Labs is one of those maps for me, you know, that I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know anything.
See, I love Labs, man. Labs is one of my favorite maps. Once you learn that map, it is so much fun. I love that map.
See,
Skyscraper too.
and this is a caster fault. This is my fault because I preach this, right? If you're gonna cast, know the game. And here I am, and I still don't know labs. It's like,
alright.
what am I doing?
Labs is definitely up there for me, so we should be able to handle that just fine. Chalet, though, everybody knows Chalet.
Oh
Dangerous
yeah.
band coming out to begin with here.
I wonder
Very
if we're gonna see a
interesting.
lot of basement roam coming from that.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I think that just comes from a lot of teams don't want to deal with a player basement, so if they suspect it, they'd like to just get that instant ping of, okay, there's someone down here, go get them, right? Because we all
Yeah.
know how much of a stir that can be, having someone sitting there and then lurking up in
Chalet is one of
seemingly
those
a million
maps,
different
you know,
directions.
like Chalet is one of those maps where like that one pick can make such a big difference. Like it's such a gunner heavy map, you know. That's why it gets so
Oh, yeah.
attacker sided sometimes.
Oh, it can definitely
no.
swing if you got the right aggression.
Yeah, like it's really going to depend here. Opening picks are going to make a huge difference. The roam is going to make a massive, massive impact. I'm really curious to see what they start with here.
Well, absolutely, and keep in mind, initial entry, or in Defender's case, initial entry denial, that's going to be crucial here as well. It's a smaller map. You don't have a lot of space to play around. So how you take or deny space is already going to set the pace. I mean, every moment is pivotal in its own regard. And that's kind of the makings of why I would consider Chalet such a great map. But with that said,
Absolutely.
we are going to be starting off on second floor. And so far, I do kind of like this composition. We have a mostly set and forget. So I do think we're going to see quite a bit of entry denial, especially with operators like Thorn on the table. I think that's going to be really important to have, you know, an operator like that you can put on the windows, hop in, swing out, you know, instant aggression, and if they stay and hold, it's a freebie, or at least an even trade utility-wise.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the defensive lineup is, for the most part, pretty standard. Obviously, you've got your two-brow, mute's pretty standard as well. The attackers, obviously, they've got their hard-reaching ace. You've got your nomad for your flank roam, your flank watch, and then you've got a little bit of util in Ash and Sophia. So, not too much really deviating from the norm here. Looks like they're going to
Yeah.
start over at library. See
Yeah,
where they take this.
And I will say that when it comes to PSG Blue, their composition is actually relatively safe. This is not what I would expect as far as like a, you know, a kind of pub stomping kind of mentality. Especially when you have, you know, Whale Cookie on Nomad and you got Waguri on Grim, of course, butcherer here of names, so feel free to correct me. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a lot safer than what we were potentially coming to expect. So I really wonder what PSG Blue might be providing here, but so far, minimal pushback coming in from Appalachian so far. We haven't seen really any gunfights or nothing. This tells me that both these teams are wanting to play this quite slow. Okay, a little bit of pressure coming in from front, trying to contest double window. No damage though, so Grib B's coming out as well. It does look like they're going to try to take library pretty fast. Flash goes through, and it looks like they are going to be able to take the library well to ease. There's the corner swing. But it doesn't look like he's been
Wow.
spotted yet.
They don't know. Oh, they finally
Ooh.
finally bring him
There
down.
it is.
A little bit of util used there. They used the flash, they used the bees. I know a couple drones went down as well. Hopefully they've still got enough left over to take the rest of the top floor here as they move over. They've got somebody in bar though. Gotta be careful. Oh, they know he's there. They take him down. 4v3. Not a bad start. Minute and 15 to go here. Let's see if they can push farther into piano.
Oh yeah, this is very doable conditions coming in for Penn State here. Not bad at all. I mean, you have two players already down. Sure, you've lost your Nomad, which kind of sucks, but you've kind of cleared out most of the roaming power on Appalachian State. So you don't really have all that much to worry about when it comes to the roam. So yeah, you lost a Nomad, but you kind of got more than what you were expecting. So hey, that's a pretty good trade-off if you ask me. 43 seconds on the clock, still getting that main wall open, but Dirt stalling precious time here. And that's going to be thanks to be able to hold that util for so long. PSU did play this quite slow in taking Library. And there it is, the Thorn coming out to take one. Wargirl able to take Dirt as well. That's going to be putting a little bit of strain on Appalachian State here. Now down to 2 players. That's going to be Bo and Glue, the last 2 remaining, but they still have full site denial, and they have to get this walk up eventually. This is where potentially a choke point can arise, and Bo is going to walk up, able to retake that space. 10 seconds remaining, able to catch another. That's going to be down by Blue Hall. Triple kill. The repel still there. That's a little too late, and unfortunately, that repel is going to be a death wish, meaning that Appalachian State takes the first round.
Oh, absolutely stalled out in the last minute of that first round there. I mean, I really thought they had it. They had the man advantage. They were up by 2. Yes, they lost the Nomad, but that tuber out putting in so much work to deny that wall. Absolutely crucial there.
Yeah, that's kind of where you have to read the composition a little bit more tightly. Because, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the wall is going to get open. But when you don't have much piano presence, I mean, Bo was even expecting someone to be by piano window. That was never there. You had one on the double window.
Makes it so much easier for them to hold the wall, right? When you've got that piano still safe and you've got that shield up. I mean, he can just sit there and tuber out and waste 30 seconds at a time all day long.
Right. It's a major time loss and time that PSU really didn't have. So, well, I think overall, initial entry, very successful. As far as their setup went, it was all right. I think they could have they probably should have reallocated that double window towards Blue. I like that repel if you're going to go for a smoke play. If you're not so strong. But perhaps maybe that's just my little piercing hot take. So maybe a little bit of repositioning, but overall, if they could just speed up the pace on getting the wall open, perfectly fine. I mean, a lot of room for adjustment here. I mean, we're not seeing any stuck positions for either team. I think this is still very flexible.
Yeah, for sure. Bar Gaming here for the second round. This is a personal favorite of mine. I really like this site. I think it's really depends on the team. Some teams don't like it, some teams do. Personally, it is my second pick after top floor. You can kind of get a little bit more flexible with your composition here, pick a little bit different on defense. You see the Aruni getting picked here, which I really like actually, Frost as well. So Doc for the frag as well, which is pretty interesting, but that's just the type of map that it is.
Oh yeah, and it's possible that we could see Appalachian State trying to go for that corner hold that we saw with the heels. I mean, you do have Wagger on the Capital, so yeah, it's kind of looking like that could happen, but it doesn't look like they're running it. So yeah, I do wonder where picking Doc comes from, though. But then again, you're going to be tagging back into sight eventually, and that's where those heals could help. But this suggests to me a bit more of a laid-back, fallback approach, right? Just take your time, not letting yourself losing lives. Gets caught in those flashes. So far, no push onto the Valk. We do see a quick hop in. However,
oh my goodness.
Kunzi gets caught.
2
Same as
goes down.
Reguri.
They get 1 refrag.
Oh yeah, out of breach, able to take 1. That's going to be front down. And Bo going down as well. That's a pretty big pick in sustainability. That's going to be a 2-for-2 trade. Neither team at a disadvantage, but they do have Valk control now. Now is the time to push through Blue Hall. You're going to see Rocky go down. Flacco going to be taking that pick. That's going to be bringing it to a 1-person disadvantage. And a quick whip towards Piano to take another. However, Royal Cookie does manage to pick up 1. He's still at a disadvantage. 2 players to deal with. Diffuser in hand, but they do have eyes on him, and they know exactly where he's going to be coming from. There's an opening potentially to plant, but you still got 1 in connector. So, what's the next move?
Down to a 1v2 with a minute left. I mean, just frag after frag, refrag after refrag. I mean, this is going to be pretty difficult for him to come back here. Yeah, there it is. Final pick goes down. I mean, when you get into that position and you lose the manpower after taking top floor, I mean, it gets so much easier for the defense to just collapse back into the site, right? When you have that guy coming over to flank from Piano and you can't get that guy off of the shield on the top floor, it becomes so much more difficult to take that space. Good round there from the defense.
Well, yeah, and the tricky part, too, to keep in mind is even though they had intel that he was above, they didn't have a certainty on where exactly he was once he got off of blue. There was no one there to immediately capitalize and apply pressure to gain more intel on where he was moving around. The hatch
Yeah,
drop,
exactly.
all for it, right? Element of surprise, but he gave it away, right? Shooting for that pre-fire kind of exposed him. I mean, yeah, you need to get that pick fast and clean, but if you can take an element of unpredictability, take it. If you can, of course.
For
It's a
sure.
really tough situation, right? You have one, you don't know where the person is. You need to get a quick pick. It's a tense situation. So that's going to give Appalachian State their second round, and we are going to be moving on to basement. Now, this is where I get a little bit curious, right? Appalachian State, they banned Mira, so that makes for a weaker hold towards the cellar rotate. So I do kind of wonder what their main approach is going to be. Obviously, they have the bandit, but keep in mind, PSU Blue has been pretty dang good on their initial entries and their clears. I do wonder how long they're going to be able to hold that wall up for. I don't think we're going to see that same delay we did previously. Whoa! Early pick coming out. I believe that was a run out from Bo. Gutsy, but you just lost your warden.
Oh man, hopping out a ranked window right at the beginning of the round. I mean, it can pay off, but like that's your main guy right now. He's got 3 kills on the board. He's the one who took Doc last round for the frags. I mean, I don't know if that's the right decision. It's gonna be a pretty tough hold when you're App State now. You're down your top fragging player at the moment. I mean, you've got Bandit there to trick the wall and everything. You've got some Capkins upstairs, but like your warden's pretty important there. That's a lot of util denial that kind of comes with that. So let's see here. Oh, refrag on the top floor. That's actually a really good play. They've got a lot of middle floor presence actually. I mean, there's the guy that going in solar there. Oh, who is that? I'm not really sure, but Solus down below. That's chilling at the bottom of the stairs. They've got the ram coming out here. Let's see what he does here. They want to take over top of kitchen right now. They're trying to get over top of fireplace, and obviously the ultimate goal is to ram over top of the site. But when you've got Solus downstairs kind of denying that, you're wasting a lot of time here getting that Solus out of there, because he's just sitting in this corridor all night. Like, he's been here for what, a full minute now, and they still haven't cleared him. Still sitting in kitchen hallway. No gunfights to be found. They haven't even taken anybody down the stairs yet to contest this guy. I mean, they've got the hatch open. Okay, here they come. Now he's coming over to the stairs. Now they want to take that gunfight. They know they have to clear this guy. Let's see if they can take it. He's backing off and hiding. He doesn't want to give away the space here.
Yeah, this is a really tight situation for PSU Blue. Having a player like that still floating around is just going to be nothing but trouble. Takes a significant amount of damage. Does finally go down to at the beach, but now it's a bit too little too late. Though, granted, they do have a player advantage, but now they're kind of scrambled. Look how much they've invested rotationally in order to deal with front. The time loss and the positional sacrifice, this puts them at a pretty stark disadvantage as Appalachian State now knows where they're going to be coming from, and this is where they can really clamp down hard. Blue looking to make something happen here over by kitchen. Not able to spot anyone. Swings the hall, but gets caught by Kunzi. That's going to be another pick down, bringing it to a 4v2. That does make the numbers look bad, but the time is also really bad for PSU Blue. It's going to be a matter of wiping these two players, and this is where things get rough. Dirt goes down. That's going to be thanks to Kunzi from above. This is going to be a huge opportunity. Here's the attempted walk-in. One goes down. Smoke's going up. Catches another. That's going to be 2 for a double kill on the B site. And now the fuse are going down, but Flacco has a lot of space here to try to push this. Does spotter, and at the beach goes down for a clean clutch.
Ridiculous. Wow, that is unbelievable. I mean, oh, he runs out from blue towards the main stairs back into the snowmobile there, and you can see all 3 players are completely caught off guard. He's able to get the 2 picks. That makes it an easy 1v1 because he knows the plant has to go down. He's able to stop it as it's going down. Wow, that's a beautiful clutch there. I mean, we said it, right? That time, you're 30 seconds on the clock, and you guys still haven't got anywhere near the bottom floor. You've just cleared out that roamer. That's a big deal. You wasted 2 minutes trying to get this guy out of there. I mean, it's hard to make something happen in the last 30 seconds, right? The defenders know that too, so they start to collapse. It becomes a 4v2, which looks bad, but they're able to keep the position and get the refrags, which allow them to stop the plant right at the 0-second mark. Very important.
Oh, yeah. Very big. And I will be the first to admit when I was wrong, because I was wrong. I said that I doubted that Appalachian State was going to be able to capitalize on that wall denial yet again, and they did. they held them off on
10 seconds remaining.
first floor way longer than I was anticipating. I really didn't
5
think Front
seconds
was
to
going to
go.
be able to hold out for that long, but yet he did. And that
Attackers are heading out to defuse
caused
a bomb.
so much disruption to PSU Blue. And now Appalachian knows the keys, right? It's that time delay. It's preventing PSU Blue from getting their setup for as long as humanly possible. Because if they do it well, guess what? PSU pivots, they're time crunched, and it doesn't matter if you have a numbers disadvantage, you can collapse them. This is where PSU has to adapt. And Appalachian, already 3 rounds, any round after this is a bonus. But now, we see the push coming into Blue, and now we get to see firsthand, can PSU speed up the process, or is Appalachian going to have a strong lead into the second half?
Still the same operator lineups here. Both teams going for the exact same picks. They know it's going to be top floor again. They've got to go library over. Let's see if this guy standing here at the top of fireplace can hold his position for a little longer. I did really like the entry last time from PSU. I know they've got they took library really strong. Oh, Front's playing a lot more aggressive here though. He doesn't want to give up that space right away. He wants to see if he can get one. No, he goes down. Gets taken out by the Ash and PSU. Let's see what Flacco wants to do here, because they still want that space. I mean, minute 46 left in the round, kind of early to give up all of library. He does jump down. They may, oh man, they catch him on the way down. They've got a guy coming out of bar gaming. Wow.
Strong cutoff.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, here comes the flanker coming up Blue. Do they know? Oh no, it looks like he knows. He's not quite sure, but he's looking there, ready to shoot. Oh man, this is a tough situation if you're App State here, because you yeah, he goes down. You want to get that pick and you want to try and even it out, but it's a do or die situation. If you can't get that done, it becomes a 5v1 here. Let's see what he can do. He knows they're all here. He gets one, he gets two. Oh, and he ties to his own thorn as the as the attackers set it off. That is so unfortunate. Oh man, he did get the 2 before he goes down. If that thorn wasn't there, who knows? It may have been another clutch round, but man, that's so sad.
Yeah, I mean, you did have one right behind the trail, so it was still looking pretty rough for Appalachian State here. But man, what a hero play if that, what could have been, right?
Oh, yes,
What could have been
a highlight for sure.
Oh yeah, but what I do think is commendable is how PSU Blue sped that up way faster. Rather than kind of dancing around these players holding their fortifications, they woke up, they got some cutoffs like we saw towards gaming. That is really big in contesting Appalachian State. They've been able to pretty much roam and stall unaccounted for, at least until it's too late. Now they really can't do that. At least not with the same setup that they had before. It's starting to become a little bit overused, and PSU Blue saw that. But we're on a different site now, different operators. Still much of the same like what we saw last time on this site, but it's still a different situation. And the question then becomes, how fast can they get to library? That's the key to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I mean, PSU did a really good job of adapting to the things that they noticed on their first floor attack, right, or the third floor attack. And one of those things was, even though they took library and they got the man advantage, they did not have the pressure on piano side that they needed. You saw that time there was a guy on the piano window. They had a guy at the bottom of Blue to cut off the guy coming out of library. They've made the adjustments. The timing, right, is so much better. They've got that guy cut off when he decides to vault over Blue. They've got the guy in piano cut off from the piano window because they know they didn't have that presence there last time.
Yeah, no, critically important there, having that cutoff and reinforcement. And now that they know that how App State's gonna play this out, like holding on for dear life on main Valk, it's just going to be really a matter of time, if anything else. I mean, they've already got Bees out. Very nice pre-fire onto Front, getting out some major damage. And look how close they're holding on to him. I mean, it's the same positions, right? It's either fall back or die at this point. And with a minute and 40, we're going to see Front go down. And that is not what you want to see, right? I mean, a minute and 20 seconds, you already lost a player. That's where you want to adapt your defense. We've seen how, over time, that position has been cleared much faster each and every time. And that one was just, I mean, that was routine, really. So now, minute 18 seconds, down a player, and the push for Blue Hall and Vertical begins. And it does look like they've already got a pretty good amount of control to be able to play off of that. Though, still one player potentially who could try to contest. Never mind. I was going to say one from below, but still a bit of the distance away. And this gives them every cutoff that they need, right? Cutting off the roamers, being able to put direct vertical pressure on site. This is the kind of comfort that you want. Though, you still got to play a mudroom, and
Oh, he doesn't
I don't think
know.
Well Cookie knows. That's why that position's scary. It's simple to clear out, but if you don't know it's there, it can often have dire consequences. Bo, trying to run back up, gets caught by Will Cookie, and now we see Flacco looking to get aggressive, try to contest this, does get some major damage, takes Will Cookie down. This is going to bring it back to 3-3. These are even odds. Appalachian looking much better here in trying to deny us with yet another roamer still on the outside. Takes a little bit of damage, but gets turned and burned. Dirt going down as well. That's at the beach with a double kill. And that means they have full site control. Plant going down. Flacco coming up from blue stairs. Looking to make something happen, but gets cut off at the door before even getting on. PSU Blue taking another round.
Wow, I mean, it's starting to even out here. PSU's starting to get their attacks down. They've seen every single setup that these defenders from App State have to offer. They've gone over what they've done wrong, and they're starting to adapt to these different types of situations, right? They're starting to see the mistakes that they've made in the first couple rounds, the first couple attacks on these sites, and I mean, they might be able to get away with a 3-3 split here, which isn't ideal, but it's definitely better than it could be.
Yeah, I mean, I would say 3-3 is still a pretty good split. That's about average. The real question, I think, is more of, does Appalachian State take another round? I would say that situation would be a little bit problematic for PSU Blue.
Yeah, if they don't get this last round here, I mean, that's pretty crucial. They have to come out with the 3-3 at least. I mean, ideally, I think most teams try and aim for a 4-2 on attack, especially if this is your map, if this is where you like to play. 4-2 on attack is definitely where you want to be, but if you cannot come out with a 3-3, that's going to be real scary going into defense, because this attack can be, this map can be so attacker sided if you are letting the space go to the attackers, right?
100%. And the thing to keep in mind, though, PSU Blue does have a bit of an edge here. Appalachian State has been a little bit static in their adjustments. You still have that Valk player and other things like that where they're just straight up losing a player. And that's fine if you have the support, but that's the thing. The front doesn't have the support he needs, and that's an opening PSU Blue can exploit, except for the fact that Bo gets spawn peeked or ran out. Unfortunately, we didn't catch that, but yeah, that's going to be already a big setback for PSU Blue that turns it around for App State, because you know that chances are front's going to go down, try to hold off, but this does provide a disruption, which can potentially change things around. But I still believe the conus is on App State to try to bring it to a 2-4. Otherwise, we're going to get an even split. Bo still looking to be aggressive. Hasn't held up yet. Looking to get this headshot peek off the mound. Not able to take the shot, but still holding basement. That is some very real presence that has to be respected. There's a clear fallback, and you've got a player thirsting for a kill. That's going to be Rocky there. Does finally back off, because that would have been a devastating loss for PSU Blue, trying to take one out of basement, which you can clear later on. Because he's going to be sustaining quite a bit of damage. And front still holding library. This is a shift for PSU Blue. They haven't really been able to get real presence, and that's going to be thanks to Flacco holding support towards Blue Hole. That's going to provide a little bit more strain onto PSU Blue and being able to take this space. It's not as one-dimensional as it used to be, and there it is. We're seeing just that. Flacco taking Wagro down, and Glue getting Whale Cookie. Oh my gosh, it's a flush coming from App State. Pick after pick, and Rocky tries to make some happen, takes one from below, but gets swept in turn by Front, who's been down several rounds in a row, holding that very position. How poetic.
See, that's what we were talking about. I mean, as much as you want to take the space, and PSU has made some really good adjustments, they're starting to attack faster, they're trying to get to these positions. Little mistakes like letting App State take your first guy, or letting App State get some real good damage on your players. You're letting this guy in basement take all of your attention. These little moments can influence a round to the point where the defenders just know that they've stalled enough time. They know that they can win the gunfights now. They know that they've kind of offset your plans, right? Like you've kind of disrupted the motion, and it just goes pick after pick until they start to get a good round here. So 4-2 split off of the defense of App State. I mean, that's pretty huge for them. Now that they're on attack, I mean, personally, I like to attack this map. I think if you're good at Chalet, attacking is much easier than defending. I think that's really important. I think PSU is in kind of a tough spot here. I think they definitely wanted to go 3-3 or better on this out of their attack. So we'll see what they plan for with the upstairs defense here. They've got a bit of a different setup. They've got the Cade, they've got the Valk. I do like the Castle pick. I am someone who is a huge fan of Castle on Chalet and Comp, so I'm interested to see how they set that up. Pretty standard setup coming from App State here. You've got a couple different picks. I mean, Gridlock instead of Nomad for your flank watch. I mean, that's not my favorite, but I can see how you would prefer it. I'm very interested where they're going to kind of push from here. They've got one coming in through the basement. Looking to clear out any potential roamers, anybody who could be flanking, should they go onto a solar side take. They've got Sledge over there as well. It looks like this is going to be a pretty solar-oriented push here.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly a really smart move. This provides a big element of mystery to their attack. When you go basement, you really don't hear a whole lot of foot movement in comparison to going horizontal or vertical, right? Noise dissipation, right? So I think when you're going from bottom side up, it provides a big element of unpredictability that kind of keeps you on your toes at all fronts. So I would like to see how this plays out. We do see a little bit of that. Whale Cookie taking front, but a little bit of a refrag coming in from Glue. That is going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Minimal util loss other than, I would say, probably a Nitro from Whale Cookie. So pretty even trade in exchange for some space. Standard play coming out here. And a minute and 35, and we haven't seen too much of a push-up quite yet. Kunzi able to take Bo down. That's going to be from that Solarium walk-up you were talking about. That is a bit of a bigger sting, I would say. Try to get your push-up, and then you get set back like that. But Blue does come back, able to take Rocky down. That is going to put it back to a 3-3 split. The question now is, where do you go from here? Where is the walk-up? You got a minute and 10, and there's still a lot of setup to be done. A lot of vertical coming out, but it hasn't amounted to anything. Wow. And Glue's going to go down to the very vertical they set. Tries to go for the refrag. Swaggery does manage. Yeah, it does go down. Flacco manages to catch it, and now we see the hard push, the walk-up. If they can get up here, they do have a distinct position, and we're going to see Flacco make those first steps and be walking right into the swing. Oh, no. Flacco just at the beach, just waiting and ready to go. Takes it, and Dirt, unfortunately, is just not in the position to be able to play off their refrag. Now, going to have to deal with a rather tenuous position here. Still has to get the walk-up. Not a lot of information available to her at the moment. And then from there, still has to get onto site. But though, 20 seconds to go, 2 players remaining. Does manage to catch Kunzi. That's huge, but at the beach, catches him at the feed hole. That's not happening. PSU taking the first round of the second half.
Man, I really like that setup. I really like what they're trying to do. I really like the solar side take instead of just the standard library over. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get what they needed down below. They couldn't get the walk up. They had some trouble with the vertical. There wasn't a lot set up with, only a minute left in the round. So it becomes very difficult. It's not something you can really see, but you can almost feel when the momentum of that round starts to shift, right? Like if you're on the defense there, you can tell they want the solar side push. You can tell they have the advantage. They've caught you by surprise. They're starting to get picks down. You want them to trade out operators, but then as the round goes on and the clock ticks down, you can kind of feel like, okay, like now we're able to stop them. Now we know that all they can do is walk up these stairs. So just couldn't get it done. Comes 3-4. Starting to be a close game here.
Yeah, that walk-up is kind of a hard craft to master with the fact that you've got so many positions you pressure from. I mean, from above in Solarium. That's always a big choke point. You can hold that from two different positions. You can look down from above, or you can just hold the stairs, and you've really only got 1 point to work with unless you're standing outside. But with that said, we are going to be moving on to first floor, and that's going to be bar and gaming. So we haven't seen any play in kitchen yet, so I do wonder if maybe that will come out as a kind of toss-up here, but maybe not. And so now we're dealing with a much different situation. or Appalachian State now going to be playing from above instead of so much as below from what we saw last round. This is going to be a horizontal. And the question I have is, what is the library dynamics going to look like here? Because we kind of saw in summary what that looked like, which was a pretty strong sweep, but then kind of a fizzle as time went on. How does Appalachian State handle this differently? That could be the difference maker for them to secure this game.
Absolutely. I mean, this map is all about adaptation. It's all about how you adapt to how the other team wants to play. It's about how you capitalize off of each other's mistakes. I mean, this is one of those maps where as much as you can pick things and have them be very standard, you need them to work out in your favor, and you need to make these tiny adjustments to be able to take round after round, right? If you don't make these adjustments, the other team is going to start getting it. They're going to start understanding what you want. And I mean, after seeing how App State has played their bar game, that's also something that PSU can draw off of, right? When they're playing their own bar game, the things that they struggled with. You see a lot of library presence here. You see App State wanting to come solar side over. Obviously, this is kind of a little bit different than just taking K9 Balk and jumping in, which is something that we saw from PSU. Wow, 2 picks go down here. I mean, this is the thing. You've got people that are still taking that top floor presence. You've got someone in piano, and the picks are coming down. Another trade there makes it a 4v2. This round is starting to get very, very scary for App State very quickly here. They've still got the player on the shield. They've still got the people in library to deal with. They still have so much top floor presence that they have to get rid of before they can actually start to make their way to the actual site. Moving over to K9 here. See what they do now. They still are looking at these library windows, but I'm not sure if they know where to go now. They're starting to lose their direction. They've lost their initial entry. They've lost their top floor. They're starting to move a different direction here. Over to ranked window. Where are they going to go from here? 30 seconds left.
It's really tough to make a move going from here. I mean, you had one player walk up, and that was Whale Cookie doing so much damage. Unfortunately for Appalachian State, not accounted for. Great roam and great opportunity seen. And now you have to push the library, holding that corner. That's going to be Kunzi, supported by Waggery, able to take both out. I mean, not even a fighting chance, unfortunately. Such a locked-in situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's a difficult round if you're App State. I mean, you're trying to make adjustments. You're trying to come from solar side over so you can get that guy off the shield on top blue. You're trying to take library so you have that presence over top, and they just know that's coming. They have the defenders roaming over near piano, near office. I mean, this is space that you want to hold as long as possible when holding bar gaming. Bar gaming is one of those kind of sites where that side of the map doesn't really matter as much, and then when teams start to play that, it surprises them, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's going to catch you off guard no matter what. It's kind of a tough ask to try to push through that. But with that being said, now moving on to basement, and so far similar composition to what we saw App State running, and you've got Bandit, you've got a little bit more investment towards the wall though, I would argue, with Wamai and Goyo. But what I'm more interested in is how they deal with above. You've got 2 pieces of active utility, not as much set and forget, and that's going to be Kunzi and At the Beach, which is going to mean you're not having as much presence above. Because remember, the breaking point, oh, there's a spawn peak coming, red ping coming out, but got a little too antsy there, World Cookie. That's not going to be happening. They know full and well where you are. I like the initiative. I do, especially with the red ping. You don't shoot those defaults in time. It can be a little hurtful learning lesson, you know. Don't forget those defaults. They still provide some crucial beginning game.
One time.
Oh yeah.
One time.
I would hope for most
mistake.
people one time. You can see some crazy back-to-back spawn peaks at times. It really just depends on the team dynamic. It's ridiculous, but with that said, I mean, now you've got some ground presence. That it's all comes down to how they get this far short clear, because this is gonna be key. They do get that ping onto Whale Cookie, know where he's holding. That's gonna be towards West Main Stairs. The key here is flushing that player out, trying to punish that vault in Waggery, but not successful. And that's just gonna give away where he is. Ready for front to take him down. That's gonna be one huge pick. Another fight. It's gonna be towards Solarium. A lot of clear coming in from App State, picking a lot of roamers down or starting to isolate them. And there we see Whale Cookie trying to offset some of this pressure. But the question then becomes, can they keep Appalachian State contained long enough to time strain them? This is where the round really becomes determinant.
That's what we saw on the flip side, right? Was even though they had a 4-2 man advantage in App State, I mean, it becomes extremely difficult when you run out of time, right? And if you can get these roamers to stall enough time for you, those guys that are left over, those 2-3 players, can still collapse into sight and make something happen, right? Obviously, you've got to get the plant down. You've got a minute left here. Still 9 players alive. That is a lot for 1 minute left. You're going to see gunfights start to come out left and right here. There goes one. At the beach gets one onto glue. They started to get the wall here in trench. I mean, one runs in. Here comes the plant. 3v4. They're going to get it down. Oh my goodness. Oh, let's see what happens here. 2v3. One player down. Oh, this is going to be a very difficult situation here. I mean, diffuser's down. You've got 30 seconds. It's a 2v2. They've got players both upstairs. They've got to get back down. They've got to take this defuse. They send one to one side, send one to the other side. One goes down main. Still holding the trench wall here. I mean, the diffuser is at the default right on the wine wall, and it's going to be very difficult to get a player down there.
Position compromised.
And there goes one. Bo gets one onto Whale Cookie, and there goes number 2. Flacco gets the second one. Once that diffuser went down, I mean, it gets really difficult to take that site back, right? I mean, you put so much effort into setting this up that once you're trying to retake it, you've kind of done yourself in.
Well, even not with all that you've said, at the end of the day, it was still a done round. Even if he'd won that fight right there, down to the very last count, you had to keep in mind that Goyo, right? I believe the Goyo still burns for about, what was it, 20 seconds? And they,
Long time.
yeah, they popped it right at the time when PSU or PSU Blue would not be able to retake it. And that's where it pretty much was a done deal. Once that was set off, there really wasn't a lot that could be done. Even if they got the kill, sprinted right to it, it wouldn't have mattered. That fire would have easily killed them before getting that diffuser off. So it was pretty much kind of a set and done deal. This is where you got to remember, your util can 100% be used against you, and it was. But with that being said, I mean, definitely a strong push coming in from App State for that walk-in towards Boiler. Huge pressure, right? You don't have to play traditional. If you can find an opening, 100%, take it. And that's what App State did. This is the unpredictability I was looking for, and I think that's going to be possibly spelling some trouble for PSU Blue. Though, keep in mind, they still had a really strong roam, and containing these players without full-on aggression has been a struggle for App State. We saw a little glimpse of good progress there, but it's then a question of, can they keep PSU Blue back? That's a win condition for sure.
Yeah, I think so far this map has definitely come down to the roamers, right? It's whoever has won that entry, whoever's been able to clear that space and take it and work with that space has won their rounds, right? So obviously you see that PSU has gotten their first kill onto front, the Ash and entry of Appalachian State. That's a difficult one to lose up front. You want to win that gunfight. I mean, obviously it's not the end of the world, but you put yourself in a pretty good spot here because it doesn't look like anybody else has really entered the map. I mean, you've got your buck below and it's done a little bit of damage, but not really much going on.
Yeah, but it does look like he knows at least one of the key positions here. Looking to try to find one from below. We've seen a little bit of this above vertical coming in, and sometimes it can work, but I would say this is a double-edged sword versus fighting from above, which is a more winnable situation. Bo is going to be able to spot Whale Cookie going for that aggressive lobby swing. Not going to pay off, though. Flacco will be the one to finish her off. That is going to even it back out until Waggery takes out Dirt. That's going to be from above. Again, where I say playing Dirt from below is kind of a double-edged sword there. And it's shown to be kind of a pain for both teams. And it has been now for App State as they are now down a player. They do have presence in Solarium. That is huge. But they do get promptly shut out, taking massive damage. All their players down. And that's going to be a clean sweep coming in from PSU. I'm telling you, that Solarium, it's dangerous.
Oh man, it truly can go either way. I mean, that's the thing. When you run that push twice in a row too, and they've defended it the first time, yeah, here comes the timeout from App State here. I mean, it gets really difficult to try and make those adjustments, right? Like it's such a single-sided push because you really do need to just win that gunfight and walk up those stairs. And if you can't do that and you start to lose the players, it's not like Library where you can kind of move those players around to different positions and take different areas of the map to try and regain a little bit of footing, right? Like if you're all sitting at the bottom of the stairs and you're all in trophy and you start to lose players from above, it becomes really scary really quickly.
Yeah, and App State is absolutely smart to call a timeout here because what we're seeing is kind of a lack of trendsetter from either team, right? Both have their struggles, but I think one of the recurring themes that we're having is a problem with positioning. You're seeing a lot of holds, or I would say a lack thereof, holds that aren't really getting them where they need to be, right? For the Solarium push, where's the bathroom window player? We saw that for both sides when they tried Solarium. We've also seen issues with, cutting off roamers. Sometimes it's worked, but a lot of times it doesn't really pan out unless the roamers just get outright overly aggressive. I think whoever is going to win this will be the team that ultimately can start locking things down and gaining a little bit more control, right? PSU Blue had their chance on attack. They struggled with that. App State still has a chance to win this out, but they have to take both of these upcoming rounds. Otherwise, it's going to be an overtime situation. They have to find a way to gain control, and it looks like, based off the roster, they are investing in that initiative. You have Dirt on Gridlock, and you've got Glue on Grim, which are both excellent operators for locking down others, holding key positions. The question is, how do they use it?
That's going to be the question for sure. I mean, you've made the right picks. Now it's time to make the right plays. They've got the positioning. They know where they need to be. They know who they need to be taking and what gunfights are going to be important to them. I mean, obviously, that's what that whole timeout was about. And they get the opening pick here on At the Beach, taking down the castle, which is going to be a pretty good start for them. I mean, obviously, you always want to be getting that entry, and I think that after that timeout, they've kind of discussed what they need to do. They know that they need this control. They know that they need to be able to take the map and use that space to their advantage, right? I mean, you can't let the clock run out. You can't let your push stall here.
No, time efficiency is going to be a big factor coming into this, but, I mean, taking At the Beach down is already a pretty good step in the right direction, as well as getting immediate presence towards bedroom. Whale Cookie does manage to barely take down Bo with a headshot, but goes down herself, though, unfortunately for App State, there's really no way to capitalize on that, so that revival is going to go through. Front, though, pushing rather aggressively, trying to look for one to secure, but secures her death in turn. And that's actually going to put App State at a disadvantage, though Glue does pick up one. The Nitro goes out. That's going to be from Kunzi, taking Dirt down. It's now a 3v2. App State still at the disadvantage thanks to that overpush coming in from front. They still have to get these two players from above cleared out. And though they do get Waggery, that's going to be coming in from Glue. There's the outside hold that needed to happen. That is big coming in from Glue. And now we see the push-up getting real aggressive, and we're going to see Flacco able to take Rocky. That's massive for App State to turn it around to be at the advantage. Kunzi, with no Nitro in hand, going to have to hold off this drop. This is going to be the most vulnerable point for App State, and where Kunzi has a lot of wiggle room to try to contest this. But it doesn't look like they have that information on him quite yet. And there's a lot of info coming out from where these two players are. This is going to allow for proper staging from Kunzi to turn this around. Bot does get spotted on the drone. That is going to be a setback, as they are going to be pretty much perfect intel versus perfect intel. How App State plays this together is going to be big in how this round turns out. Split up, you'll lose. And that's what we're looking for next. Grim walking up and catches Kunzi off guard. Great positioning, keeping it quiet, keeping it unpredictable, taking him down. And that's going to be now at match point.
Just sees the top of his head there. I mean, App State, they knew what they had to do. They had a full minute to work on the 2v1. They get the drone on him. They start to go down together. They stay together. I mean, I saw the Grim run past there, and I'm not sure if the defender actually saw that, but they were both right there. And I mean, if they had have lost that initial gunfight and made it a 1v1, I think they were fully ready for the refrag too. So fantastic positioning. That timeout definitely did them some good.
Defenders, protect
They
your bombs
used
from being
that to
defused
kind
by
of
attackers.
pace themselves better, to develop their time better, use their space more efficiently. They've got the momentum here going into match point. This is going to be a scary round if you're PSU Blue here.
Oh yeah, it's definitely kind of a shaky toss-up. And what I'm kind of concerned about is
Attackers have
they're
discovered
now
the
on
location of a bomb.
they're now on first floor. Appalachian State has already seen this before, so it's not going to be as clean as what we saw last time. Still running a pretty similar composition here. Appalachian State making a little bit of changes. We're still seeing dirt on the gridlock, and what I want to see is
Attackers are
a
heading out
strong
to defuse a
pushback.
bomb.
That's what I'm looking for. Whether it's pushback on Rome or whether it's a counteroffensive coming onto PSU Blue, this is really going to be the pivotal theme for who takes map 1, if Apps takes it, or if we go into overtime. That's really what I'm looking for, is how they push back. And at the beach, already putting it at a strong start, able to take Bo with a extremely clean spawn peak that's going to be coming from Blue Hall. Long shot, taking out the back player. That's going to be Sophia out. Kind of a big loss there. Those concussions can really put some work in for clearing space.
Absolutely a fantastic opening pick there from the defensive side here. I mean, they've taken down a lot of utility by killing Bo. You see a little bit of banter going on in the chat there. They know they've hit that nice shot. I mean, trying to kind of play a little bit of mind games here. You want App State to kind of be on their toes. I mean, they're up by 1, but you also want to stay confident going into this round. Like, you want them to show that you're here to fight, right? You're here to win this round and take this map to overtime. So it's going to be pretty difficult here. I think that one definitely is a big loss for App State here. They're going to have to try and make sure that the things they talked about in their timeout still happen.
Whoa.
And there's a big pick. Flacco gets one onto Kunzi there. That's a fantastic pick. It's just the dock, so they don't lose much, but that's crucial. He's got 13 kills. He is their top fragging player right now. That's going to be a pretty big pick for App State going into the final minute of this round here. Still got to clear out Fireplace. Still got to clear out Library. Still got the guy sitting in top blue. They swing. Oh, he gets the guy Library. Gets the guy on the stairs. Gets the guy in the E-box. Oh my goodness. He gets all 3 in a row. That is a huge play for App State. Wow. Oh my goodness. Flacco, what a round. That is absolutely ridiculous.
And the second that shield went down, all hell broke loose. That is what you call a library play. PSU invested so heavily into library and holding that position because they knew that was a breaking point. But they just couldn't. Appalachians got their attack down, and they were going to put up a hell of a fight. And boy, did Flacco not disappoint. Not even a little bit. They were able to turn around their struggles, right? With dealing with lurks, dealing with holds, and they finally got down what PSU couldn't, and that was your holds, right? Double window hold, beautiful shot onto Bauk. And then the push from Flacco, amazingly done. Saw a gap and took it. Though there was a little bit of mistimed hesitancy that we did kind of see coming off from PSU towards the blue stairs. That peak could have easily solved that problem. But then again, right? Foresight is 2020. Is that the saying? I'm sure I screwed that up.
Indeed.
Hindsight.
Yes,
thank you,
for
thank
sure.
You. Words
I mean,
are
I think if they really time that properly, as much as Flacco makes a fantastic play there and gets the 3 of them, and he kills that guy on top Fireplace, you're right. As soon as he turns and he swings to the left to look at top Fireplace, that guy on blue stairs has a free kill if he looks up. right? But he just doesn't see it. He doesn't notice, and it kind of snowballs from there. They get the first one on Fireplace, and then you're panicking, right? Because they're like, where is this coming from? The guy on blue doesn't really know what's going on. He starts to peek, and at this point, Flacco's already looking over there. He knows that he should have been killed there. He knows that he was only supposed to get one, and they give him a second one, and then that's where the ball starts to roll. You really cannot get it back from there because you've lost two very, very, very crucial players, and now they can just walk in. App State can just take that whole Fireplace, that whole top floor in blue. I mean, from there, it's just win your gunfights, and it's pretty hard to do when they've just taken over all of that space in the span of like 10 seconds, right? So very difficult to kind of bring that round back. Amazing job by Flacco to really set the pace in that last round.
Oh yeah, was looking really close, but Appalachian State they did absolutely close it out. They took that timeout and put it in strides, found the gap, and was able to really take full advantage and adapt. Right, that flexibility that we were looking for, it finally came to fruition. But we still got two more maps potentially to go through, so stay tuned. We'll be right back, and we'll get right back into the action.
What he do, not too. This young nigga, he my fan, so. Frozen Wolfgang on the remix. I told y'all I was gonna take it. I told y'all I was gonna take it. What he do, not too. This young nigga, he my fan, so. Frozen Wolfgang on the remix. I told y'all I was gonna take it.
Change the motherfucking game.
All right, and we are back. Welcome. So, if in case you missed it, we just went through map 1. That was Chalet. We saw a 2-4 split that was coming in favor of Appalachian State University. Though Penn State was able to pick it up on their defense, starting off, put it at a 5-5 split, to which we did see a timeout coming in from App State. But it seemed that timeout put in a lot of work for them. They were able to really clean it up, start busting down roamers and holding off, and they took the win. But now we're moving on to the next map, and that's going to be Nighthaven Labs.
Nighthaven Labs. I love this map. We were talking about it there just a minute ago, and this is one of my team's personal favorite maps. We love this map. It's a very team play oriented map. It's a lot about timing. It's a lot about how you use your utility to kind of get space taken. There's not a lot of space to take, so it is a very complex map for you to deal with utility wise. It's going to be pretty exciting here. And if this is App State's pick and they're starting on attack, it's kind of a bit of a disadvantage. Whale Cookie says they're going to be running Clash in the chat, which I actually think is a very fun pick to be playing on defense on this map. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see how PSU does on defense here, because this is a pretty defender-sided map, and if it's not their pick, I hope they're well versed enough to be playing on Nighthaven on defense first, right? Not going to be able to take any tips from App State here. They're going to have to completely come up with their own original ideas. Ooh, big ban in Tuberau there. Big ban. That's going to be very scary to deal with if you're PSU here, because you know that Cade Tuberau or that Bandit Tuberau tricking is a very, very, very hard thing to replace. I mean, it looks like they're picking Mute and Cade here, which I like, but I don't know if it's going to be a good enough replacement for a Tuberau if they did plan on running one. Who knows? They may not have wanted it to begin with, but that's a pretty scary operator to live without. I mean, personally speaking, when you're defending Nighthaven Labs here.
Yeah, this is a very scary ban list. I mean, yeah, like you said, shields or walls are going to be going down a lot faster, and you still have a lot of utility that's available for blocking off lines of sight or blocking off firing paths. You still have Monty, Blitz, Azami, Waggery already running Azami. Yeah, this is a pretty scary map, and this is one of those maps where you want to run shields, right? I mean, the shield into IT or warehouse or pushing through electrical, all valid and all very strong spots to be having a shield. Maybe not so much electrical, you know, Nitro the living life out of it, but, you know, still very strong, right? Although, we are seeing Appalachian State not bringing a single shield. I guess maybe these teams just aren't too comfortable with running shields. I mean, at this point, you should, but yeah, we haven't seen them run it, and correct me if I'm mistaken, not a single time.
No, not a single time. Not even once in Chalet, which I was actually going to comment on, but I didn't want to speak too soon. I was waiting to see if the Monty came out, and it didn't. And they banned the Blackbeard here for this map, but there it is. Like, the wall goes down right away. I mean, 2 minutes and 30 still left in the round, and the wall goes down. That's that Tuberau ban we were talking about. It's so hard to be able to keep that wall if you don't have Tuberau. I mean, that's... Oh, man.
Oh, this is aggressive.
Ooh.
Oh, nope.
The beach goes down right away to dirt on the gridlock. Oh my gosh, Whale Cookie gets the refrag here. Not so bad, but still a very difficult situation to find yourself in if you're App State here. I mean, you've got a 4v3. Make that a 4v2. Triple kill for Whale Cookie. What a big round. They've got a minute 47 here to make something happen. Only 2 players left on the board. Util's going to be running short now. I mean, they've got the wall, but it's still a very difficult push to make if you're App State. You've got both players below here. You've got all 3 players for PSU still sitting in sight. I mean, yeah, they're going to reinforce off of Rafters here. They're going to give you that whole area. All of Warehouse can be yours. They've still been able to collapse into sight really well here, though. They've got all 3 players playing off each other. Still a minute to win it. It's going to be pretty... Oh, man, there goes another one. Waguri gets one onto Glue there, making it a 3v1 for PSU. Only 1 for App State. He's knifing the Azamis here. They've given him all of Rafters. Let's see if he can make something happen. Swings pillar, doesn't see anybody. Looking around for gadgets with his IQ. Sees the Valk cam. Good play there. He's got to get over to that diffuser as well, unless he expects to be able to take all three of them all at once. Oh, camera sees him as well. They start to swing him. A zombie gets a piece of him. Still fighting with a zombie, and he takes it. Waguri with another pick onto front. That'll be the end of App State's push in the first round.
Yeah, really tough situation to be in. But we got to talk about what happened down in the bottom. That was an insane denial coming from PSU Blue. So much aggression. And why not? This map to do it. It's pretty large. There's a lot of space to work with here. And they took that space in strides. Right? When you have a team trying to clear you up and you got a tag team like that, it can make for some pretty nasty work, especially when there's not a lot of intel giving a complete picture of what's going on, especially when you consider what PSU Blue had for their intel game. Multiple BPs. They had Valkyrie. That is a whole lot of information giving you all the ammo you need, especially playing close with a teammate, do some big damage. And that's exactly what came to fruition. For App State, I mean, they got that wall open extremely fast. The util placement, phenomenal.
10
It
seconds
just
left before insertion.
the intel wasn't backing it, and they
5
got
seconds
turned
left.
and burned. This is what makes Nighthaven so freaking volatile. When you have a big map like this, you're bound to find some massive clashes like this. Roamers have to play closely together, and you gotta account for that. And yes, you brought the IQ, but I do see, and this is a trend overall, that she's often not utilized enough in clearing util. She does spot it, but it doesn't really amount to as much as one would hope. And that's
Especially on
struggle
a map
many
like
teams
this, right? I mean, this is a map that has so much space to offer and so many like different like variations in the space. There's so many choke points. Wow. Insane opening pick there from Blue onto Rocky. It's gonna be good for them. I mean, the Dokkaebi is gonna have the DMR to get it done. I mean, as I was saying, you want to use that IQ really heavily because this is one of those maps where there's a lot of choke points. There's a lot of util to be taken out in these different, these different choke points throughout the map. So it's going to be interesting to see if they use that as effectively as they should be. They spot the roamer there, spot Waguri. Call goes out from Dokkaebi. See if they can capitalize off of this. They want to get him out of there so they can take that top floor, take that middle floor, and then eventually be able to hopefully do some damage over top of the site. Let's see here. Oh, they spot Glue. Whale Cookie. Oh, Waguri gets a great pick onto Glue. Make it an even 4v4 once more. Whale Cookie also came up to help out a little bit on the roam. Obviously, if you're PSU here, you don't want to give away the space too easily, but that's the thing that could... Oh, wow, they refrag him there. I mean, Whale Cookie goes down to front, but then at the beach makes a fantastic play in refragging for them. Comes a 3v3 with a minute left. This round truly could go either way here.
Well, keep in mind that Appalachian States does have an edge here, and that is intel. Everything that PSU Blue knows about App State knows as well. So there's a really even playing field, and on a site big as this, having an intel equalizer like Dokkaebi is a huge setback, especially with how much intel is floating around. That much clarity is going to advantage the attackers because you have so many avenues that you can move around in. But so far, not paying off. Waguri taking the double kill onto Bo, and here comes a little bit of pressure to possibly try to get a refrag. That's going to be coming from Flacco. Does run in, going for that diffuser, but relatively unprotected, and that's the swing coming in at a beach to shut that down, and Waguri taking, I believe that's a triple kill to finish the job.
Yeah, that's interesting there. I mean, they had the intel, they had the time. You've got the ace that just walks in and tries to make something happen there and gets the plant down, and I like the play, but you gotta win that one gunfight. If you're gonna fake the plant and you're gonna have the guy swing you and you know he's gonna do it, you need to win that gunfight to try and equalize there. We saw a couple gunfights there that could have gone either way and just ended up going in the favor of the defense there, and that cost App State that round. I mean, fully could have brought that back, and losing those two gunfights right at the end of the round there, that's what really gets it done for them, right? I mean, they lost that first fight to Waguri on the Fenrir, right at the bottom of the stairs there, at the bottom of Exo stairs, and then they lost the other one going in for the plant. And you just can't be losing those gunfights if you want to win that round.
No, when you have intel that tight on site, where pretty much everyone knows where everyone is, you have to play close to get a 1, right? You want to be aiming for a trade. You're right there to plant. Just get that trade, hold close and cover. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Could have been a time constraint thing. Who knows? But looking into this round,
Defuse a bomb.
we do see Well Cookie back on the Fenrir. We've also got At the Beach on Castle as well. We have seen quite a bit of play from that coming down from PSU Blue. But this site is always kind of scary for me because it can be so easy, so tempting to just do that B site walk-in, and all hell breaks loose when you go for that. Though it doesn't look like potentially that's what App State is going to be gunning for. They don't really have, I would say, the best matrix to keep up with it. They do have smokes, and that's going to be from Bo, but Bo's going to be hunting for Roamer, so I don't see this kind of play going through, especially when you've got Kunzi holding that position with a Nitro. That's
Bomb
always
located by
kind of a
attackers.
questionable position to be at. So the question then becomes, where does the clear lead to? Does it lead to that hop-in, which historically I don't like, or do we see something entirely different? Possibly a push coming in from warehouse.
This one's gonna be interesting. I mean, I hate this site. I'm not a huge fan of defending either of the first floor sites. I mean, obviously most teams have to pick one. If you're going to have a third site, you definitely need one. But I pick the other one. Personally speaking, this one is difficult to defend. I mean, you've got a lot of top floor presence again. It's another one of those sites where you defend the full top floor and you don't want to give up that space, but it's scary. I mean, if you lose that first gunfight like you have here, you start to lose that space pretty quickly if they can take it from you, right?
Yeah,
Ooh,
and
another
this is
big pick there.
This is a real scary game. Wow, another pick coming down. That's from Flacco. A complete top floor shutdown here. You have vertical going in, and you've got all eyes on At the Beach. That's the situation. You see 2 drones flying in. You want to get out. Another pick coming out. That's going to be a warehouse shutdown. That's going to lead to Rocky being the last one, not even close to sight, giving a free plant. Shotgun goes down, takes 1, but the refrag coming in, there's still that predictable delay. Shotguns aren't absolutely everything, my friends. But yeah, I mean, absolute tear on the top down. We've seen the potential of this in the past, and they were able to finally put it into action, crippling PSU Blue's numbers, right? And what I have to kind of wonder is, where was the tight-knit crossplay?
Attackers need to
Right,
locate
At the
and
Beach
defuse
was
bomb.
all alone over by Command Center. Usually we see him heavily backed in support, but that seemed like they kind of stretched themselves thin. So I don't really know where the shift came from, but I do feel that that shift was a round coster for them.
Such a difficult site to defend, and that's what I was saying is you have to play the top floor, but defending that site becomes so much more difficult once you've lost that opening player, because you start to lose that presence, right? These attackers know that they've got one, so there can only be so many off the site
10 seconds to
upstairs,
go.
which makes it so much easier for them to take that space, right? And then start winning
5
those
seconds left.
gunfights. And the pieces just fall one by one, so they're gonna run it back on top floor here. They've gone through their three site cycle, and they're gonna bring it back to the second floor, which is obviously the preferred site. Not much has changed. Still looking very similar on the operator picks here. Obviously, Cade is trying to keep that main wall as long as possible. We saw it get opened in, 25 seconds in the first round when they attempted this site. Looks like they're going to go for the same thing here as App State. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to keep that wall closed with no Tubra, like we were saying earlier. I mean, it becomes insanely difficult, and App State gets the first pick down below. Good refrag there from Kunzi onto Bo. That gets rid of the Jackal there. They've still got IQ on the board. They've still got their hard breach. They're still going to want to get those walls open. Let's see where they go from here. Oh, Roamer At the Beach is still in kitchen below. Let's see if you can get one here. Another one from Waiguri onto Flacco. That's a big pick. They've got the wall open, but You're missing your hard breach if you want to go for anything else here. I mean, obviously does his job, gets the wall open, but now App State has to make a 3 versus 4 attempt. Use the space that they've taken, take that wall, and see if they can get something done. They still got a minute and a half to work here. Still lots of time. They could make something happen. Front is still fighting this guy in kitchen at the beach, wasting so much time here. Oh my goodness, at the beach, Dirt tries to drop on him, and at the beach gets another pick, making it a 4v2. Round is starting to slip away from App State very, very fast. Ooh, they finally got at the beach. They finally taken him out. Took them a full minute to do it. They've now only got a minute and 15 left in the round. At the beach, great clear in the chat. Kind of making fun of the roam clear there. And I mean, you can see why. They've wasted a full minute trying to get to at the beach, and he takes like 3 gunfights back to back to back here. Still got one below in storage. I mean, it looks like they're both there. I'm not sure what's really going on here. They've got Grim outside the wall, and it looks like they're trying to get IQ to come up the rafter stairs here, the warehouse stairs. It's going to be very difficult for them to take back here. They've got 42 seconds. IQ is at the top of rafters here. Still one outside the wall. They know that a zombie is going to be playing on this close wall here. They've got the cam on them. This is going to be very difficult if you're App State here. They've got to have some really good gunplay to make something happen with 24 seconds left here. He walks in.
Really
Got the guy from Connector. Yeah, they get one. Refrag from App, and there it is. The round has come to an end. Unfortunately, Front could not make enough happen there. I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier with those choke points, you know? Like, when you start to get so much utility in one little room like you have on that server wall there. Oh, wow. At the beach. Talking a little bit of smack here. Some stuff going down in the chat.
You should have seen it earlier in the round. He gets a pick, and then immediately, when he's got another player on his tail, question mark. Like that. I mean, lightning fast toxicity.
Yeah, I
You
believe
gotta
that was
give
after they
props.
dropped the hatch
That's
there
pretty
too,
crazy.
right? I mean, trying to clear him in the kitchen, and they had, I believe it was Front who was downstairs trying to fight him, and then Dirt just drops the kitchen hatch straight into the SMG-11 of At the Beach, which is why the question mark came out. But oh man, both teams are really fired up here. You can see them going at it in the all chat here, which is I like to see it. I like to see the teams get fiery, a little bit competitive, so means they're really involved.
Attackers have
You've
discovered the location of a
got some
bomb.
interesting name calling going on here in all chat, but we'll see who really comes out on
5
top.
seconds
Is the
to
trash
insertion.
talk gonna make a difference? Is the mental game really playing a big factor here? I don't know. We'll have to see. We're going into round number 5 here. Pretty standard setup again from PSU. They've starting to take the basement as their second pick. Yeah, basement. And App State taking, I believe that's the exact same lineup as previous. Actually, they may have switched out another operator, but pretty standard stuff. They've got their IQ, got their hard breach. They've still got their RAM. They had the Dokkaebi, which got them their opening pick last time. Let's see if they can make something happen here to try and even out this split a little bit. I mean, this is a really defender-sided map, but it's quite difficult to kind of come back from something like this. I mean, obviously, you got your chance at top floor again, and that didn't really work out. We haven't seen the first or the second site get lost on this map yet, so App State has an opportunity to do that here. They played their basement site already, PSU, and let's see if App State can do what they did in the first map and start to capitalize off of the things that they noticed. There's one.
Woo.
They've got Waguri. They figured out where Fenrir is going to be, and they've taken him down as their entry. Hatch is open, by the way, Glue says in the chat. That's a good start. They've made some adjustments. They've kind of changed their positioning a little bit to try and make sure those roamers have a more difficult time. You see At the Beach playing the back stairs there. Whale Cookie is on the other stairs in EXO to support him. Let's see if they can hold this site for another minute and 30. They're starting to take the top floor here is App State. Still trying to set some things up here with a minute and 15 to go. Looks like PSU is trying to just play off the stairs here. They don't really have anybody actually playing on the main floor. Everybody is just playing over on the stairs. With a minute left, it looks like they don't want to really risk too much here. They're just going to end up collapsing back to site. Whale Cookie, a little close there, but doesn't want to risk it. Bo's still coming down. You've got Front coming down the cargo stairs. Gets taken out by At the Beach. That's a big pick if you're on defense here. 45 seconds to go, and they still really haven't made any progress down the stairs. Tries to get a nitro up top, doesn't land. Dirt looking down from above into lounge. Let's see if he can get a pick here. He's still looking for that player in that back corner near the B-bomb chassis. I don't think he's gonna spot him here. 23 seconds to go. They're gonna have to start funneling into sight here. Bo gets into a gunfight. Fenrir comes out, activates it. Oh, that's so strong. 14 seconds. Dirt gets one. That's a good start for them. 10 seconds to make it happen here. 2 picks go down from Kunzi. That's huge from Bandit. 6 seconds. They're gonna have to make a plant here. They can't do it. Dirt is the only one left. Time runs out, and they've done it. They've stalled long enough to stop the attackers. That's what we were talking about. Those choke points, those last second gunfights make a huge difference. I mean, you see 3 or 4 guys go down within half a second, right? Like, it all comes down to those choke points where you've got right at the stairs, you've got, wow, a lot of trash talk coming out here. I'm trying to comment on their round, and they're talking to each other in the chat about where the site is. Oh my goodness. I mean,
Dude, I think both teams are on their villain arc. This is ridiculous.
Bomb located by attackers.
yeah,
I love it.
absolutely.
But I do want to kind of point out, and this is kind of, I think, maybe an explanation for why we're seeing such a dramatic round differential. Just a quick question. For both teams. It comes from love. Where's the refrags? I mean, if you look at how that round played out. First round, you've got a player. You know that App State loves to play top down. All alone. Immediately wipes out.
10 seconds left.
We know that App State has a very dangerous top down. No time stalled,
5
just
seconds left.
immediate loss. Then you have when it came to execution. App State
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
trying to push in close to sight all alone. Clearing out castle, unsuccessful, 50-50. A little bit in his favor, not by a whole lot, maybe like a 55-45. No refrag. This is a scenario that heavily favors defense. When you're not playing too close together like that, and I get it, it is a big map, but you gotta set up something. This is what creates a breeding ground for defense to win. Defense favors just plain one-on-ones massively. Because you either get space, or you lose space, or nothing happens, right? It's not like you're gaining space over time. You're losing time and you're getting little gain. This is where the teams have to kind of lock in on that. And we are seeing a little bit of close play coming in from App State, starting in towards electrical. And of course, we've still got a bit of a hold towards IT, a heavy investment. Rocky going to be able to take front, and this could be a little bit of a wake-up call for App State, having so much presence above right now, already losing one player. This is going to be much harder to take than what it was originally. Blue does manage to take At the Beach, though. That's going to be huge, giving a walk-up at the command center, but still a lot of players to push through. Rocky goes down. That's going to be thanks to Blue. There's still another one towards player, but here comes the pinch. Gets a little bit of pushback, still holding the wrong side, as Kunzi will be able to take Flacco, expecting a swing from the other side, and another one comes down. Kunzi taking Bo down as well, but Blue on a tear does finish the job, and that's going to leave it down to a 2v2. Much closer team play there. I like it from both sides. Now, the follow-up. What happens next? You got Whale Cookie holding out towards the top of the hall stairs. Ball goes down to Glue. She's not done. Gets a 4K. That's the quad. Possibly an ace? Oguri, the last one alive, is going to have to figure out whether she will fall victim to an ace or whether she's going to possibly salvage the situation. Still doable. There's a lot of angles that you can hold from here.
We saw this on Chalet. App State needs to take their time here. They're in a 2v1 situation. They've still got 45 full seconds to work. It doesn't seem like a lot of time, but when you only have one guy to kill on the board, that is plenty. They need to make something happen here. They've got to take their time. They've got to be wise. They've got to stick together here. I mean, Glue has been on an absolute ripper this round. He's got 4 already. There he goes. Glue goes down, makes it a 1v1. Waguri knows where he is. And he does it. He clutches the 1v2. I mean, that's what we were talking about. You guys need to stick together. You can't have these situations where you lose a gunfight and then let the defender recover and take another gunfight. It's not going to work like that. 5-1 split on defense. Oh my goodness. PSU Blue has definitely got more than they asked for in those first 6 rounds. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Both teams very, very, very heated here. I think PSU is quite happy with their performance in this first 6 here. I mean, taking App State 5-1 on defense on their actual map pick, that's a pretty big win so far. They'll take them where they can get them. So let's see what App State does differently here than PSU on the defense. Obviously, site is going to be up top once again. This is the most popular site and the easiest to defend on this map. You've got the Azami, the Malusi, the Bandit. Pretty standard setup here as well. They're going to deny that wall. The Azami is going to be playing in the top of warehouse on those rafters, if you will. So, should be a pretty standard setup, just like it was for PSU. The big difference maker here is going to be how they take care of that wall. I mean, obviously, if you can get that wall to still be closed or still not be opened at least a minute or two into the round, that's going to make a big difference here. That's something that PSU weren't able to do.
Yeah, no, indeed. And this is where I wonder what App State could possibly do to come around here. Because we've seen how detrimental the lack of team play can be and how heavily that can be defender-sided. And what I wonder is how PSU Blue is going to be handling their executes. Because that was a big struggle for App State, right? We see a lot of split pushing. And this is not really the best map to do it. There's way too many lines of sights, too many hiding corners, and if you're not playing close together, you're not getting that refresh. Those line of sights aren't that expansive. Front gonna be taking a lot of damage over towards warehouse, getting caught completely off guard. Those still keeping his head on the swivel, looking to possibly take another swing towards warehouse, but completely isolated here. If PSU Blue can take this, there's not much room for a refrag, though. There is one above. That's gonna be Flacco able to support and take another down. Takes another. That's going to be huge. Front still sustaining a significant amount of damage. Does have a little bit of backup, and that wasn't from Flacco. That was from Glue. That was a completely different situation. Now, here comes the push. The clear. Kunze succeeds, taking Flacco down, but gets immediately refragged. That's going to be the close team play that will make all the difference. Well, we got Waguri sneaking up from warehouse, and it doesn't look like they are aware of this positioning, but one shot from Waguri could have given it away. It doesn't look like they're too well aware of this. Goes for the shots, not able to connect. Annie still full HP here. Still has a strong position over by Balk, but has to get that push through. And wow, what a nitro coming out from Dirt. Gonna be long arming it to take Waguri down. And that's gonna bring it down to a 2v3 as At the Beach takes front. Here comes the walk up, but where they go from Balk is going to be the tricky part. They pretty much don't have any other territory other than right here. And oh, Bo, why are you exposing yourself like that? Completely out in the open from IT. Goes down. That's going to be a big opening. 30 seconds. Still has to get out from warehouse and IT. That's going to be the choke point. Going to go for a little bit more droning. Try to get some last second information, as you do have App State kind of hiding in these little holes. This is where the team play and the clears come into action. Glue not gonna be able to spot Rocky as he takes down Dirt. That means Glue's gonna be the last one around and holding all the way back. That means Diffuser is gonna go down. There's gonna need to be a pushback. Take the one and then the other, but not able to spot Diffuser in time, as we'll see the swing from At the Breach as Glue tries to kill Diffuser. It doesn't happen.
Oh man,
Almost
I
there.
mean, ooh, that round could have gone in the complete opposite direction. I mean, you've got him sitting on the IT wall after they've opened it, completely exposing themselves. That gives the attackers time. 30 seconds left to jump into IT and start to take the site. They get the next pick down on the opposite site there, and then the last guy is just sitting playing the connector. And you can get the plant down on the far site. I mean, that round should not have gone that way for App State. You've got the stronghold. They still had warehouse. They still had IT. They still had the guy playing connector, and yet Bo just makes a crucial error and gives them that space completely for free and equalizes the scoreboard here. I mean, there's something to be said for the IQ of the PSU players there, walking around and catching Bo by surprise, right? I mean, they got that wall partially open and they were able to capitalize on it with 30 seconds left in the round. So that makes a big difference when you're able to make those plays like that. You're able to build off of the things that you've already taken and be able to take that space later on into the round. It ended up being a win for them on a round that they really shouldn't have won. And that puts us to match point here, 6-1. This could be the last round of the map if App State is not careful.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you have the pace change as well with how they play that execute. Totally different story from what we saw from App State, and that's a unique edge. We saw how Glue was so far back last round and really couldn't stop that walk-in into server. There was really nothing that could be done. Looking to catch someone off guard, but it didn't happen. Like I said, there's a lot of opportunities to swing from different angles, but those lines of sights aren't as expansive as one would be led on to believe. And that's just a prime example of that. So now you've got a situation where App State has to take 5 rounds in a row just to be able to have a fighting chance in overtime. This is indeed what you would refer to as a dire situation. And running back on IT, dangerous move. You're just going to allow PSU Blue to play even faster unless they can make a potential fundamental change. And we do see Whale Cookie manage to walk straight in. Does get impacted by what looks like Flash. Bo and Glue getting real aggressive here, able to push back big time against Warehouse, taking 2. That's going to be Whale Cookie and Kunzi now both down. That's going to be a 2-player disadvantage off the rip. That's an initial entry gone terribly wrong from PSU Blue, and a sorely needed break for Appalachian State. But it does look like they're going to be mounting another aggressive push. Bo going to be able to catch Griguri trying to push out, but does take yet another. That's going to be Bo on the double kill. And that's going to leave Rocky to be the last one alive. Looking for any kind of opening here. But the crouch peek coming in from Bo, that's going to be a triple kill, keeping App State alive for just a little longer.
Wow, what a round. I mean, 5 straight, that's a pretty big ask, but they do have defense, and that is important. They're getting the stronger side here. This is their map. They know how to play defense. This is what they wanted. They didn't want to be down by 4 rounds here, but they did want the defense for this map. So if you're ever going to be confident in making a reverse sweep, this is where I'd want to do it if I'm App State.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
See what they
defused
come
by
up with
attackers.
here. They've got Apcan on the board, which is something we haven't seen before. Glue says don't choke. They are confident in their abilities to play defense on this map, and I don't blame them. This map is very fun to defend. My personal favorite, obviously, in comp. Pretty standard setup here. They've got the Malusi, the Legion. I mean, these are all just preference picks with a little bit of set and forget to play with here. At the beach, switching from Dokkaebi to Ram, which I really like for the bottom floor. I think Ram is definitely someone you always want to see in your comp here. PSU's just got to focus up and close it out here. If they really want to get this map done, now is the time to do it. They can't be giving any momentum away to App State after that last round.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Even a single round, and you're pretty much talking done for. But I am kind of curious about the choice to bring Capcan here. I really don't think PSU Blue was quite aggressive enough to constitute such a pick. It's definitely one that was unexpected. I wasn't expecting to see a Capcan here, of all places, but I do wonder if PSU Blue is possibly looking to try to make some walk-ins. We did see a bit of that with the composition, the kind of aggressive pushes that we saw coming from PSU Blue, even though it didn't succeed. And maybe App State is calling that this will happen again and looking to double up on that. But so far, we haven't seen that, and they certainly know that there's a Capcan on the board, so I think they're going to be much more cautious, and they're already taking down several Capcans. So, like I said, wasn't seeing it, and it doesn't look like that's going to be happening there. But you still got a Nitro on the board. And that already does a lot for you. That's already some big impact if you're going to be playing on basement. But you still got to clear. You still have glue holding up from above. Oh, not a nitro. That's a BP. Never mind. Did Cat lose his nitro? In any case, this is where we're going to see what PSI Blue can do as far as closing out. They've got good execute, but if they get there.
Yeah, this one's going to be pretty difficult. I mean, it's still 5v5. They've got a minute and 30 here. Haven't really taken as much space as I'd like them to have at this point. Grim is a very important pick here. They've isolated this one guy, and he loses the gunfight. Whale Cookie. Oh my goodness. I mean, they get the refrag with Kunzi there, so not so bad. Could be worse. They need to start taking some space here. They've got a minute left. App State is hoping for this to happen. They've stalled so much time now where they know that they can just collapse. They've still got a guy roaming in cafeteria right now, right outside the kitchen there.
Oh,
PSU should know this, and hopefully they're going to take this guy down, but it might be too little too late. You've got 50 seconds left to make something happen, and the space isn't really there. I mean, they haven't taken as much as I'd like to see. Bo is also still upstairs. Also still playing control room. They don't know it. Oh my goodness. He just misses his shot and gets taken down by Kunzi. That is so lucky. But even still, 30 seconds left to make something happen for PSU. They get lucky there. They're saved by Bo missing his shot. Didn't know which one of them to shoot. He wasn't expecting two, just the one. But even still, I mean, the Rams are starting to come down. Rams coming down cargo stairs here. Still a 3v3 with 10 seconds left. They know that they've got to flank the stairs. Becomes a 3v2. 7 seconds to go. 2v2. 4 seconds. Can they get it down? They've got to rush the exo door. There's one, and there is two. Glue closes it out. And that's what I was talking about. It's now 6-3. You had it 6-1 on match point. It's now 6-3. You've just given up 2 rounds that were not as close as you would have liked to have seen. It wasn't even like you could have really made many adjustments. You were just missing something fundamental. And App State can see that now. They can sense that. They know that they're the better defenders on this map. They've just won upstairs and downstairs pretty efficiently here. This is going to be the round that makes all the difference. They're playing control room and storage. Like we were talking about earlier, this site is all about how you hold the top floor. If you cannot keep that space and you let the attackers walk in and do whatever they like, that's when you start to let this round slip away. That's when defending the site becomes incredibly hard. All going to be up to App State here to make sure that they maintain that top control, maintain that top floor, and make sure that they just don't give it away. They want to stall as much as possible. App State has done a very good job in the first 2 rounds of doing a little bit of roaming, stalling a lot of time, making sure they don't get cleared out, and then making sure that in the final seconds of the round, they're collapsing back to their bomb sites. They're playing off of each other. They've done a fantastic job of that the first 2 rounds. This is going to be the difference maker. Obviously, you're seeing the castle come out. You're seeing a little bit of Pulse here, which is also a new pick. Curious to see what they do with that. What do you think?
I'm not too sure, honestly. I do wonder that as well, what we're going to see with that. I think that best call is to let that play out and see what unfolds. But what I am really thinking here, and maybe this is a hot take, I think App State takes this. And the reason why is because they've, like you said, have done a great job at denying setup. We saw this with Basement, with how the setup just was pretty much just not there. They just didn't really have any setup on site, and all just folded into App State's line of sight. And I don't expect anything different here. Yes, they're all grouped up from above, and PSU Blue does get some good executes, so there's a little bit of a shake-up there. But I do think that playing above is going to be too much to bear, especially with Glue on the Pulse, and there's Flacco already putting the strain on PSU Blue. That's your Thatcher down off the rip. Whale Cookie going down as well. This is an immediate top-down disaster for PSU Blue, and they've barely gotten the building. And there's another one, Glue. There's that Pulse with the Nitro shutting down the plays from above. This is exactly what I was talking about. They're so good at denial, and they are putting their best foot forward with that initial entry denial and that top site denial, or top floor denial. It's doing them wonders. And I mean, we're talking minute and 30 seconds. Immediate 3-player disadvantage. This is extremely difficult to rectify, and it's looking like it's only going to get rougher.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was talking about. You have to be able to maintain that top control, and this is App State's bread and butter. They wanted this site. Obviously, everyone wants to defend this map, and I mean, when you make a pick like this and you go down 6-1 and you're able to get 2 in a row like that and make this a 5v1, this is going to be a 6-4 game very shortly. And if I'm PSU, I'm thinking about taking a timeout here. I mean, this is something that kind of scares you when you've lost, three straight like that after making this a match point game. Like you're talking all this trash, and App State has really pulled it together here. They've really started to get their defenses going. Yep, there goes Bo again. Talk it up. He knows that they've got it going here. I mean, making it a 5v1 with 20 seconds left. They've got a defender running all the way outside. This is the 3rd site on this map. This is not supposed to be an easy site to win. This is going to be one of the harder sites, actually, on this full map to win. And they've actually got the last player, which is Rocky, pushed all the way back outside, scared to even push the building with 5 seconds left. And there it is. Defenders win round 10. I'm a little bit scared here if I'm PSU. They've just gotten their most dominant victory on defense, and it wasn't even on their best site. That's on their 3rd site. So I'm a little nervous if I'm going back here and I'm PSU and I'm knowing I have to attack the 2nd floor again. So let's see what App State can do here. See if PSU can close it out. I know they want to, but they really have to be careful in how they decide to attack Command Center here, because if they make mistakes like they did before and they don't take the space, they leave the defenders to their own devices and let them do whatever they want to do, they're going to run out of time. They're not going to be able to take this site in the way they want to. We saw Bo make a grave error the first time, which actually caused PSU to get to match point, I believe. But App State is not going to make those kinds of mistakes again. This is their map. This is what they love to do. You know that they are going to capitalize on everything that they messed up on that first upstairs take.
10 seconds remaining.
So while they're holding this site again, it's going to be pretty difficult if you're PSU here to make something happen, because this is exactly what App State wants. It's 6-4. They want this to go to overtime. All they have to do is win upstairs and then win downstairs, and we've got an OT map, and I'm assuming they're on OT for defense. So it may end up playing out in their favor here.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, one of the big things is how when they last played this site, they tried to go really aggressive, and it didn't work. So we're clearly seeing that roster compensating for a slower playstyle. But then you run into the issue where App State loves to deny the setup. This is what they love to do, and this always puts PSU Blue in a situation far from being able to get their most ideal setup or execute. This is where I think is going to be a big choke point for PSU Blue going forward, is trying to lock that down. Get these star players out of the way, like you have with Front, holding out. And so far, they have the info, but he's still here. And Flacco taking Whale Cookie down as well. This is what I'm talking about. They get so much denial. Look at that. Bo taking another. That's going to be Rocky down. You're now down 2 players, and you're barely in the building. You got to shut these players down. You can't let them keep doing this. It's too much to bear. It's heavily consequential. And that's where I see when they try to play aggressive and it didn't work, this is kind of crisis mode for them, because they have to get some kind of setup. Otherwise, their executes just flop. And App State has been playing so aggressively. They've denied it turn after turn. So what do? I don't know.
That is the question. I mean, this is exactly what App State wants, right? Like, you've got them playing in one by one. You've got each player able to deny entry, and there's another one from Bo, making it a 5v1. This round is going exactly like the last round. It seems like they can't even get into the building. I mean, they're trying to push from so many different locations, but the players from from App State are just taking them down one by one by one, and it makes them so, like we were talking about earlier, if you're not getting those refrags, I mean, this map becomes so easy to defend. And that's what we're seeing here. I mean, nobody's refragging, they're just winning gunfights, and that makes every round a 5v1. That's devastating if you're PSU Blue here. I mean, obviously you don't want to be taking these one-on-one gunfights, and not only do you lose the opening gunfight and your entry is denied, but you also don't have anybody else to try and capitalize on a refrag. They're just losing them one by one.
What I find so interesting about this is, despite how many rounds have been lost in a row back to back, PSU hasn't called a single timeout, which either makes me think they're forgetting it's a thing, or they still feel confident that they can close it out. But right now, there's really no evidence to support that. Like you said, and like I've said, right? The refrags, they're just not there. This is where these defense rounds just keep piling up. I get it's a large map, but this is just not the map to want to do that. You know, to not really have a plan for a refrag. It makes things so much more difficult. And to be honest, unless you have perfect information, which is really hard to accomplish, it's kind of like on Villa, right? Like, you're not going to get perfect intel. There's no way. There's too much to cover. You're always going to be in a situation where you're taking a gamble, and that gamble slightly is in favor of the defense, because they can hear you coming, and you can just sit there, and they have no idea where you are. That's always going to be an inherent disadvantage to the attackers. So the real thing for PSU Blue is being able to lock out and tag out, right? Get these players out of the picture, isolate them, but they haven't been able to do it. So, and the composition still very similar to what we've seen before. We've seen the Grim, and we've even seen the Jackal, and even that hasn't been enough. You can know where they are, but you gotta get rid of them. And that's where I think that for certain we are going to go into overtime, unless there is just a dramatic shift coming in from PSU Blue, or App State way overplays it. Flash goes out, they know there's one below, but again, do you push alone, or do you just stave them off and go forward? And it looks like that's what they're going to be doing going forward, and that could be a shift in behavior that could help them quite a bit.
It's going to be interesting. And that's what we were talking about. I mean, we see the kill come down from Glue. Glue gets it onto Whale Cookie, playing the Grim, which is a big pick for them. Grim is so important in trying to help them clear out these people that are roaming, like you see front here. But the problem is they're not getting those refrags. They still haven't done nothing about Glue. They haven't done anything about front. I mean, these players are running around like they own this map.
Yeah, that getaway from front was absolutely criminal. You had someone on or above, you had a player by window. He should not have gotten away, but
They just
yet
can't
he
do
did.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
he just seems to escape every single time, just slips through the cracks.
It's a lack of pinching power. That's where the struggle is. I think we're going to see that struggle again, as they have no idea where Bo is, taking Kunzi from the walk down from stairs. That's another big loss coming onto PSU. Then the Nitro, that's also been a big player. Another pick going down. They do manage to take front, but this isn't really an opening for them. When you've got one player left and 4 players all bloodthirsty. And I mean, look at that. Dirt from below, just hunting them down, and finally gets them out. And that's overtime. This is a big weakness. Both of these teams, the cohesion, the, you know, I almost call tag team. It's not there. You gotta have the tag team. Otherwise, you're going to have these situations where defense is almost always coming out on top. And that doesn't matter what map you're on. No matter how attacker-sided it is, it doesn't matter. If you cannot isolate these players and you're having slip-ups where players are pushing through the cracks, you're not getting anywhere because you're losing time, right? When you invest to isolate these players, you are investing time. That's really what it comes down to. When you play alone, you're always losing time every time, or you lose space. And here, I mean, it's much of the same, right? But neither teams are getting impact out of that. And yeah, I mean, App State starting on defense, like you said, that puts them at an edge. PSU Blue has to find a way to upset this. They do like to have a strong top down, or maybe that was App State. Correct me if I'm mistaken. This does seem to be a pretty good spot for both of them, but that doesn't mean it's going to amount to a good execute. At least
All
it
gonna
didn't for
be
PSU Blue.
which team can capitalize, right? We've seen App State win 5 straight here. We've seen App State win pretty much every site on defense here, and PSU took them 1 round on upstairs, right? We saw them take that 1 round upstairs where Bo made that critical error on that IT wall, and we've seen App State make the smart decision to go downstairs for their first defense attempt here. They know that they can win that. They won it twice very cleanly. So PSU is going to have to make some major adjustments here. If they want to be able to win this round and take the edge going into their defensive round on overtime, they're really going to need to start clearing very hard here. They've got to get these players out. They can't just have Bo sit at the top of cargo stairs for the next 2 minutes. They need to shut him down. If they don't do that and they let Bo get a pick, oh, there it is. Glue gets a cap can kill. Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Man, that is... We kind of said that the Capcan pick wasn't really necessary a couple rounds ago, but it seems to be paying off. And Glue is 16-7. Am I reading that correctly? Oh my gosh. I mean, when you've got players like Glue and you've got players like Bo, both great in a gunfight, that are taking the space back from you as you're trying to clear it. These are threatening players. Like, you can't have someone like Glue just walk around top floor while you try and clear somewhere else. He's going to get the best of you. You need to be able to take these players down. I'm not seeing any drones. I'm not seeing anybody try and clear this top floor. They've already walked through there, but Glue takes the space back. And there it is. Just like I said, he gets this first pick upstairs after flanking Rocky. You can't let that happen if you're PSU. You need to make sure that the person roaming is taken care of, either with flank watch or by a refrag. You need to make sure that player is gone. And Glue gets away again. Flacco with another big pick. Glue gets a second one. Unbelievable. Makes it a 5v1 again. That's 3 rounds that have turned into 5v1s on defense for App State. And there it goes.
Yeah.
Front gets the flawless round. Absolutely beautiful round for defense to start on overtime. That's a 7-6 so far. We're looking at a reverse sweep possibility here.
It's 100% on the table, and it really just comes down to the fact that App State got defense first. Man, I'm telling you, attack is just both of these teams' kryptonite, really. It's a difficult map. I'll give them that, but man, you gotta admit that the difficulty in attacking from both sides has been so steep. And I don't see PSU Blue taking, or actually I do see them taking this round, but I don't see them taking it next round. It's just you're not seeing what you need in a fundamentally good attack.
Right.
Not that they can't attack, it's just this map particularly. Something about it just messes them up. And
this
it is
this is
leading
App
to
State's pick, right? So
yeah, it's leading to a lot of incidents that really just shouldn't happen in the first place.
right.
And so I really have to wonder, what will either team do differently to win an attack? Because
Yeah,
that's the
for sure.
ultimate stake.
Right.
App State can afford to lose this. PSU Blue cannot. They have to get an attack down. They've had so many rounds in a row to try to fix this. And they have to. They don't get a choice by the fact that they started on attack. Someone's got to do it. Maybe nobody. But either way, PSU, they're kind of in a tight bind. They have to do something that neither team has done, which is really just pick up another attack round, which has been a daunting task.
Yeah, winning that top floor has been so difficult for both teams. I mean, App State has won 5 straight on defense, but we saw them kind of give up a round to that top floor of IT wall there. So like, it is possible. We have seen that top floor be won before, but it's so difficult. And oh wow, what a shot from Whale Cookie on the front there. The good night comes out in the chat. That is a beautiful first shot.
Though.
Beautiful first shot. I am not upset by that call in the all chat at all there as well.
I'm reloading.
If you're PSU here, this is do or die. You really won't get a second chance at this. This is a round that they absolutely need to win. If you don't take this round, your night is over. You've lost. And App State knows that, and that kind of puts them at an edge. Even though they're on attack and they're on the weaker side here, they know that if they can get this round done, it's over. And if I'm App State here, even if it is a 7-7 after this round and they go into that final round and they're on defense there, I think they take that. Personally, I think App State has the knowledge that they're the better defenders here. And if they can attack just one round and be successful, this is their map, right? They've already won their 5 straight. If they can get one more here and close it out, this is it. PSU really needs to hold strong here. They need to be able to keep this space. You've got a minute left on the clock. You've got 4 players for App State. They're at a bit of an advantage here. You can see the players are pushing it up into the top of warehouse here, coming down those rafters. The wall is open for App State with 43 seconds left. This round truly could go either way. You're seeing 2 go out for App State. Wow, Flacco gets 1, Glue gets 1. That makes it a 3v4. 3 players left for PSU here. They've given up another one. Oh my gosh, Bo gets 1 more. At the beach gets a reflag onto Glue. That's a huge pick from PSU Blue there. They've got to make something happen. 2v2, 15 seconds to go. They could win this round here. My goodness, Bo gets 1 onto Rocky, makes it a 1v2.
10 seconds left.
10 seconds remaining. The hatch is open. They've got to get the plant down. He doesn't see it. App State swings the hatch knowing he's going to be below, and PSU just doesn't realize that he's going to be there. Oh man. App State going absolutely ridiculous after the reverse sweep. Holy, the trash talk coming out in the chat here. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what a game from Glue. 19 and 8. That man was a killer on the roam. You cannot make that kind of stuff up. That is
No.
absolutely ridiculous from Glue.
I love it. So poetic. Oh my gosh. I mean, you had to win, I believe it was 5 rounds in a row. Not only did they did that, and then they won 2 more rounds. 7-round wins in a row. I mean, you can't make that up. I really wasn't expecting the struggle of attack to be so real, but my goodness, it was. I mean, both had their strengths in attack when they were able to pick a round up or two, but for the most part, it was just straight up a struggle fest. And I really do believe that attack just really came down to, you know, not having a tight looped system. But I mean, keep in mind, this is still the first match, so you can't be too hard. And all you needed is 1 attack round, and Abs gave it. And they were able to take what they'd struggled with a fresh set of eyes and were able to pull through. And that's all that ultimately mattered.
Yeah.
Still really jarring, looking back, seeing just the sheer number of defense round wins. I mean, yeah, innately defender sided. I get it. But sheesh. Wow.
It's ridiculous to see that many rounds won in a row. I mean, you have to hand it to App State. They got it done. They knew what they needed to do, and they went to work. I mean, they didn't get the split they wanted on attack, but either did the other team. PSU didn't either. And I mean, when you know that you're a professional at defending this particular map, and you know you have to win 5 straight, there's nothing that they can do except sit down and get it done, and they do. Glue puts in an absolutely unreal performance on that map to make sure that they actually win those 5 rounds. I mean, they had him on every site that the bomb site wasn't, just so he could roam, just so he could get a pick here and there and then walk off, and then come back 30 seconds later and get another pick. I mean, it was crucial that they took care of that, and they didn't. PSU just couldn't handle it. They weren't able to get the refrags they were looking for. They fell victim to a lot of the choke points. They couldn't get the setup they were looking for because of those roamers. I mean, App State just gets it done. They do exactly what they needed to do. They took care of business, and that's that. There's nothing really else you can say.
No, honestly, it really was a war of attrition. I mean, that's honestly the best way you can take it. But I mean, it really does take a lot of endurance to be able to go through 7 rounds in a row, all wins, just to be able to hold on. I'm telling you. I mean, ignoring how heavily defender sided the map was, and perhaps I'm severely overestimating or underestimating how defender sided it is. Maybe it is the new, what is it? Theme park. Maybe it's the new theme park. That could be. But either way, I mean, yeah, that's just ridiculous. But with that being said, we're not done quite yet. We still got an interview coming up. So stay tuned for that. And we'll kind of get a insider breakdown of what really went down. We'll be right back.
She only come out at night. Type of freak that I like. I never seen her in lights. All alone, never room for two. I see you. She only come out at night. Type of freak that I like. I never seen her in lights. All alone, never room for two. I see you. I'm tired of the night shift, driving around aimlessly. You hit me from my guest list, trying to get the best of me. If you want a good time, yeah, call somebody else, call somebody else. If you want the invite, call somebody
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Glue here, the App State MVP of Nighthaven Labs. Glue, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
How
Certainly
did you
feeling
feel
better after
about
that comeback.
Yeah, for sure. Reverse sweep there. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we talked a lot about your ability to roam upstairs. What goes into that? Like, what exactly are you looking for when you're trying to make a roam on the top floor there?
Honestly, like we kind of play like all different positions, but if everybody's talking and on the same page, it just makes it so much easier. They didn't have a lot of flank drones or any really presence watching like a flank. They opened that storage window, like looking into cargo, and they just never had anybody playing it. So we were just going all over. And by doing that, you just create confusion. And then you do that with like a ram, it just masks all the sound. You just go wherever you want. Um, that's really it. But credit to my teammates. Like, I mean, they did all the hard work. I just ran around. So shout out to them.
Interesting. We also noticed that this map was very, very defender sided. I mean, both teams kind of struggled with attacks there. Is there anything that you would have liked to have improved on your attack to kind of close that map out or improve that split?
Just droning and taking space. We were missing like a key part of our team. Thank you to Dirt.up Zach for filling in. He did a great job. But just taking space was an issue for us. As soon as we got on defense though, and like they played into our setups, it got a lot easier. So
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Now, this is a question that I have to address. So you guys clearly were having some fun in all chat. I gotta ask, do you guys have some special love with each other that we're missing here, or is this the East Side attitude that I've been hearing about? Now, keep in mind I'm Midwestern, so this is where the prop comes in. What was really going on? Y'all got a love for each other, or what's the scoop on that?
so I mean, they started chirping. We weren't saying a thing. They started talking. We took map one on them. We didn't say, we weren't saying anything. They good nighted somebody in the chat, map one. We didn't say a word. We just moved on. And then they start chirping map two. And I grew up outside State College. I'm actually from Pennsylvania before I moved down to North Carolina, like 45 minutes outside. But I mean, they're just insufferable Penn State fans. And I mean, that's just going to happen if you talk. So I'd love to see them at LAN. Maybe pull up to Cincy. We'll take them out, in person. I'm playing on a 120 frame computer, and I dropped 19 on them. So
Whew. Big words there. I like it. I would love to see you guys play again at
and
LAN.
they
We
need to wear
really love that
deodorant too.
energy.
Last time they were stinky. So I'm serious. I'm serious, man.
I
We
think
we
we
love
saw
that
that a
energy.
little bit. Yeah,
We love that
what was
energy,
it?
man.
Poop Stink University.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to keep it. We were trying to keep it like tone. We weren't saying anything too crazy, but if they were gonna talk and they got dead quiet after at like 4-6, man, it was dead silent in all chat, and I was like, all right, yeah, we're gonna do our thing.
Uh, speaking of which, round differentials. When you guys went on to, I believe it was defense. Yeah, you guys had a huge round differential and then won 7 rounds in a row. And this is honestly just out of genuine fascination. How did you hold up the mental having to pull that through that many rounds, even with the massive defender side bias? That's still a lot to push through. Did you have anything that kind of helped to keep momentum strong?
We have a strong team. I mean, we brought in 2 new people at the beginning of fall semester, and our chemistry is just getting better and better. That being said, we took a second when we flipped sides and we're like, hey, like we're not, we're trying to get this over with, and everything just started clicking one round at a time. And Bo.app as soon like he was a little bit down attacking, and attacking that map's hard as it's a tough map. But once he got on defense, I mean, he just started lighting people up, and the whole team was popping. And as soon as that happens, I mean, you can't stop us. So
Gotcha. So it was a mix of the half reset and also just big start. That
and the
makes sense.
confidence,
Yeah.
and the confidence.
Oh yeah.
I trust my guys. I trust my guys, and I know what we can do. So
Yeah, and ultimately that's really all that matters. So I mean, honestly, good on you for that. I don't think I could be able to hold my mental for that long. That's just holy crap, I'd be so tired hanging on for dear life that long. That's crazy. So big props to you regardless.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, overall, super fun game to cast, super fun game to watch. We've talked a lot about labs and where you guys closed it out, where you guys kind of your bread and butter, as I was saying on the stream. What did you think of Chalet? I'd like to hear your thoughts on how Chalet went. Obviously, I believe that was their pick, right? And then you
Yeah.
guys started on defense, right? So, is there anything you'd want to improve on that map? I know you did end up winning that map, and you took that map off of them, even though it was their pick. Is there any notable moments from that map that you wanted to comment on?
I mean, we got a good. It wasn't a great win. We actually I like Chalet a lot. I mean, I like all maps. I think we're pretty good on all of them. But the same issues with just taking space and droning, and that comes with bringing in someone else, just replacing a big part of our team. But I mean, all in all, I'm super proud of how my team played, and I love those guys, and just thankful to have them. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, definitely a good group of guys. You love to have the team back you up when you start to talk you talk, right? And
oh yeah,
obviously, dropping 19 kills on map 2 certainly does not hurt when you want to talk the talk.
yeah.
Um,
No, that felt really good. They deserve that. Oh, they asked for it too. So
yeah, for sure. It definitely feels good when you can drop 19 kills like that. Um, So we'll ask a couple more final questions here, and then I think we're ready to wrap it up. Is there anything you wanted to say to PSU now that you've kind of taken them 2-0 in the first map of this first match of the season?
um, they really are a good team. If we see them in the future, it'll probably be another good matchup. I'm serious though. They need to pull up to Cincy, come to a LAN event. Um, trying to get that one to gain traction. But they're a good team. But we're just looking at next week now. So game plan for that.
For sure, for sure. Good luck to you in all your games. It was phenomenal to watch you here tonight. Final words, my co-caster.
Yeah, absolutely. As always, I am the resident yapper. I've been around way too long. So we'll end it with this last question for you, mate. Any final shout outs for any of your teams or anyone else for that matter? You did have quite a showing of audience. I'll say that much.
Yeah. Well, I want to shout out our coach Brad, Bradley Meadows, the goat Bam.app. He's been sticking around. He's keeping this team together. When him and I first started this team, we were not good. We were kind of a joke. Some people who've been around for a minute, they know that. But over these past, I mean, shoot, it's been almost 3-4 years now. We built this into something really incredible, and I'm graduating this spring, but I hope that it continues. I think Siege, there's a new Siege coming out now, so supposedly, but we'll see what happens. But shout out to Bam, shout out to Ryan Sosa Chamberlain, shout out to my girlfriend who was on Twitch sitting next to me and supporting me through all that, and then shout out to just App State Rollneers. Thank you guys.
You love to see it. That's what the community is all about. And thank you for joining us, Glue. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Y'all take care.
Thank you. You
And
as well, my
with
friend.
that, yeah. And with that being said, that is going to conclude our first stream of Atlantic R6. You'd love to see it. And with that being said, I think that's going to be it for us. So, to everyone who put a lot of passion into watching this, thank you. And of course, Book, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, my good friend. It was a pleasure as always. Definitely some crazy, crazy maps, a lot of spawn
Yeah.
peaks, a lot of roaming. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, crazy stuff. But with that being said, and of course, thank you to production, wouldn't be possible without you. We're going to be heading out. I know I'm going to be at a long drive. I got to head home. So, yeah, I hope everyone enjoys their weekend. We're almost there, just a few more days. But that's going to be it for me, folks. Take it easy, and we'll see you next time.